Hey champions, welcome to tonight's edition of the Motivation to Elevation Facebook Live podcast. It's yours truly, Arian Tyson, back at you on another Tuesday night here in the STL. And I'm excited about this topic. If you're just hopping on, let me know in the comments section. I'm gonna let some people know that I'm live. We're about to get this going momentarily. Thank you so much to everybody hopping on. Right on. Hey champions, welcome to tonight's edition of the Motivation to Elevation Facebook Live podcast. Hey cuz, good to see you. Hey sis, glad you on. Thanks so much to everybody tuning in. For those who do not know who I am Arian Tyson, affectionately known as the Moving Motivator, and I am sitting in my office here in the STL, and I am glad that my power is back on. It had a crazy couple hours. I got home from work and for some reason my power was out. And it literally came back on about an hour ago. And I said to myself, there is no way that I'm going to be denied of doing this podcast tonight. And so spoke it into existence, thanks be to God, and I'm here back on another Tuesday night. I trust that your day has been peaceful, that your night is a peaceful one, that your week is going well. And before I begin, thank you so much to everybody who has basically given me kudos, shout outs, and more importantly, have purchased their apparel from my store that I launched this past Thursday. And if you have not checked it out, you can get gear like this and more at www.motivation2elevation.com. Again, that's www.motivation2elevation.com, where you can get apparel like this and so much more. I mean, we have it taken care of from the new babies. Shout out to my homeboy Tion and his wife Thelma, who just gave birth to a healthy baby boy this morning. Actually, the baby was not due until September 7th, and I looked on Facebook and she gave birth today. I guess he decided that he wanted to come now. So So definitely am excited and, thankful for them and what God is doing in their lives. So we got onesies for the babies, infants, for the kids, for the adults, all the way up until 5XL. So basically your size is covered from a small to a 5X. I got you. Trust me on that. And we have t-shirts. We have V-shirts for the ladies. We have hoodies. We have sweatshirts. The list goes on. And I'm steady adding stuff. So I just wanted to, put that plug in. You can call it a shameless plug, but I'm unapologetic about it. And so having said all that, I want to talk to you and I want to be transparent because I am so excited about the feedback that I got from last week's podcast that I'm still getting feedback on, that we're going to see if we can kind of duplicate it, so to speak. And so I want to talk about something that's really near and dear to me, and it's really near and dear to people as I have conversations with them privately, whether it's through email or whether it's through social media. And I want to talk to you about what to do in order to move forward in your life. And so this is something that's really prevalent, not only to people I know, but I may even find myself speaking over myself as well. And so there are some things that I'm going to share with you. Hey, cuz, thanks so much for tuning in. And I'm going to share with you probably 4 or 5 things that you need to do in order to move forward in your life. And one of the things is, the first thing that you need to do is, I've always said that everything starts in the battlefield of the mind. And so with that, you have to get to a place and space where you begin to practice thinking better about yourself. What do I mean by that? Because I know I'm guilty of this, and maybe you're watching, you may be guilty of this, or you may have been guilty of this at some point in your life. But there was a point in my life, and I have to admit this, where I spent a lot of time subconsciously belittling myself, right? Because I've often said, and I'm authentic and I'm transparent when I say this, that I am my own worst critic. And maybe you're your own worst critic too. You may walk around, or you may know someone that's guilty of walking around thinking that they're not enough, or they're not good enough. Or they walk around trying to be something or someone else that they're just not. Someone who tries to fit in when they're born to stand out. Someone who's less sensitive. Someone who's less needy. Someone who is less flawed or comes across like they're perfect. You may walk around being less than who you are. You might walk around being a lesser version of you. Why? Because you felt broken and you didn't want to scare people off. You wanted them to simply like you. You wanted to make a good impression, because that's what we're taught. You only get one chance to make a first impression. You wanted to be seen as worthy and lovable, so you could feel healed and whole. And so for the longest time, behind a facade of mask and fake smiles, you have inadvertently betrayed yourself, ladies and gentlemen, for the purpose of trying to please everybody else. And if you can't say amen, say ouch. And for the longest time, your heart has ached. But you're at a point now in your life where you're seeing things a little bit differently. The heartache, you have decided and you have realized it just isn't worth it anymore. Belittling yourself for one more day just doesn't make any sense to you. And more than that, more importantly than that, you now realize that no matter what you do or how you change, some people will never be pleased anyhow. You now realize you come to a place in space where you have to start doing things for the right reasons. Not because it's what you think everyone else needs, but more importantly, it's because you finally know yourself to be worthy of your own love and worthy of your own care. Not because other people approve of you, but because you are breathing your own air, thinking your own thoughts, and occupying a space no one else could ever do. Yes, you are indeed worthy, no matter what your past looks like. Yes, your ideals are worthy. Yes, you have $1 million or a six-figure idea, and you're worthy of it. Yes, your feelings matter. Yes, your feelings are worthy. Yes, your needs are worthy. And without everyone else's constant validation, ladies and gentlemen, you must be who you are and live authentically your truth. Be transparent and unapologetic about it. Even if it makes people turn their heads. Even if it makes people turn their backs. Even if it means walking alone down the path less traveled for a while. Even if your own confidence in yourself has been shaken, you must realize this: the real battle is always in your mind. Everything starts in the battlefield of your mind, and your mind is under your control, not the other way around. Are you with me? So you may have been broken down by adversity, by setbacks, by rejection, by stress, but you are not broken. It is a difference between being broken and broken down. So don't let others convince you otherwise, and don't let your mind get the best of you either. Here's what you must remember. You must heal yourself by refusing to belittle yourself. I'm going to say it again. You must heal yourself by refusing to belittle yourself. Choose to take up a lot of positive space in your own life starting now. Choose to give yourself permission to meet your own needs. Choose to honor your feelings and emotions. Choose to make self-love and self-care a part of your daily routine and rituals. Why? Because when you choose to think better about yourself, you have to do that so you can live better in spite of yourself. That's point number one. Point number two, you must constantly embrace the fact that you are more than the one broken piece of you. When times are tough and some piece of you is broken and chipped, it's easy to feel like everything and all of you is broken along with it. But I'm a living witness when I tell you that that is not true. We all have this picture in our minds of ourselves, this idea of what kind of person we are. When this idea gets even slightly harmed or threatened, we tend to react defensively and oftentimes irrationally. People may question whether we did a good job, and this threatens our idea of being a competent person. So we become angry and hurt by the criticism. And how many people do you know that cannot take constructive criticism if their life depended upon it? Someone falsely accuses us of something, and this damages our idea that we're a good person. And so we get angry and we attack the other person, or we cower and cry. And the list goes on and on. But here's the caveat. Here's the craziest thing about it though. Oftentimes, we are actually the ones that are actually harming and threatening ourselves with our negativity and our false accusations about ourselves. And we have to be careful about that. We have to. Because the truth is, you and I can be many things. And remembering this can help us stretch our identity so that it's not so fragile. Because you have to be able to roll with the punches, so it doesn't completely shatter when a small piece of it gets chipped. Then it doesn't matter if someone occasionally thinks that you didn't do a good job. It doesn't matter if you sometimes catch yourself not doing a good job, because you won't always do a good job. That's something to remember. You have to remember that you are flawed. You're flawed, but you're still valuable. Yes, I've made mistakes. So have you. Yes, I'm less than perfect. So are you. I'm just like you. And guess what? That's perfectly okay. Point number 3. And this is a doozy because people refuse to do it. They refuse to do it, especially when they get older in age and life punches them in the mouth. This is some of the things that they refuse to do. Just going to be honest with you. You have to realize, in order for you to move forward in your life, the third thing that you need to do is change, evolve, and start over when you must. Notice, I did not say if. I said when. You must. People have this mindset that starting over is not an option for them. Allow me to inform you that, unfortunately, that's a lie that many of us hold on to until the bitter end. And the idea of starting over being a bad thing has been baked right into the fabric of our society, particularly in the education system. For example, we send our children away to a university when they're 17 or 18 years old and basically tell them to choose a career they'll be happy with for the next 40 years. And then the kid says to themselves, but what if I choose wrong? I remember thinking to myself, and that's exactly what I did in more ways than one. Yet over the years, however, through bouts of hardship and failure and setbacks, I've learned the truth through experience. You can change paths anytime you want to. And oftentimes, it's absolutely necessary that you do. Why? Because yes, starting over and making substantial changes in your life is almost always feasible. Of course, it won't be easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But neither is being stuck with a lifelong career you naively chose when you were a teenager. And neither is holding on to something that's not meant to be or something that's already gone. Here's the truth. The truth is, no one wins a game of chess by only moving forward. Sometimes you have to move backward to put yourself in a position to win. And this is the perfect metaphor for life. Sometimes when it feels like you're running into one dead end after another dead end after another dead end, it's actually a sign that you're not on the right path. Maybe you were meant to hang a left back when you took a right. And that's perfectly fine. Why? Because life gradually teaches us that U-turns are allowed. So turn around when you must. There's a big difference between giving up and starting over in the right direction. And there are 3 little words that can release you from your past mistakes and regrets and get you back on track. And you know what these 3 words are? If you want to know what the 3 words are, let me know in the comments section. I'll wait. If you want to know what the 3 words are, let me know in the comments section. Because I'll be glad to tell you what those 3 words are. 3 words. From now on. 3 words. From now on. So, from now on, what should you do? Anything. Something small. As long as you don't just sit in your seat strapped down to a destiny that is not yours. If you mess it up, start over. Try something else. Let go and grow. Believe me, no doubt, one of the hardest and absolute lessons in life is letting go. Whether it's guilt, anger, love, or loss. Change is never easy, but it's necessary. It's never easy because you fight to hold on and you fight to let go. But letting go is generally the healthiest path forward. It clears out toxic thoughts and choices from the past and paves the way to make the most positive use of the present. If you haven't been following my Facebook wall over the last 24 hours, something happened to me that absolutely blessed me. And it let me know that God always has a ram in the bush. Yesterday, I received an email from a gentleman I have never met. Had never had a conversation with. And they shared with me that they watched a video that I actually did over 3 years ago. And it's entitled, Let Go of Toxic People. That video has been seen over 2,000 times. And it does not have a single dislike. I still get comments on that video to this very day, including as late as this morning. He watched that video and he shared with me about a situation, about a toxic relationship where a woman did him completely dirty. And it blessed me because I know of many instances where men are done dirty, but yet they do not get, basically they get ridiculed for the things that they go through. Or they're told to simply man up. They're shown no level of compassion whatsoever. They don't get the necessary compassion that a female does when they go through a similar situation. And the thing about it was, he appreciated the fact that I talked about how you have to let go of toxic people in relationships because it can hinder everything about you. It can hinder everything in your life. And so I wanted to share that with you because that's important. That's true. Because you got to emotionally free yourself from the things that once meant a lot to you. You have to. And oftentimes, letting go is strictly about changing the labels that you place on a situation. It's looking at the same situation with new eyes or with fresh eyes and an open mind and then making the best of it. It's thinking better about the past and present and then building small life-changing daily routines and rituals so you can start over again and live better going forward. 2 more and I'm done. Point number 4 is you have to get to a place where you let go, which I just basically said. You have to let go of the things that you don't need. You have to let go of the things that you don't need, because eventually most of us end up settling in some part of life. That's just a harsh reality. We let go of certain dreams and certain ideals, and we compromise and we make trade-offs. We gradually learn that we can't have everything we want, because not every outcome in life can be perfectly controlled. But if we pay close attention, we also learn that we can make the best of every outcome and still get a lot of what we want in life if we manage our time and our energy and our attitude properly. And these realizations collectively lead to an interesting question. When you settle or compromise, and when should you settle or compromise, and when should you continue fighting hard for what you ideally want to achieve? And the truth of the matter is, there is no one size fits all answer to this question. But when you encounter a situation that forces you to choose between compromise and fighting forward against the opposition, it might help to also ask yourself and be 100 with yourself. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Or do I just kind of want it? And being able to distinguish needs from wants is essential in every aspect, in every walk of life. Never let go of an outcome you truly need in your life, but be reasonably flexible enough on the outcomes you want, but could live fine without. In other words, choose your battles wisely, and don't let perfect become the enemy of great. Remind yourself that what you pay attention to grows. So focus on what really matters and let go of what really does not matter. Finally, the last thing that I would say that you need to do is find something to be grateful for in the present moment, despite the situation. Happiness doesn't always make us grateful. No, that sounds crazy, but it's true. Happiness doesn't always make us grateful, but gratitude always helps us smile. Some may say it's a cliche, but it's not. Gratitude is the foundation, and happiness is simply the sacred experience of living with a genuinely grateful heart. Expressing gratitude is so simple though, right? If it's so simple, then how could it possibly make that big of a difference? I'm glad you asked. Because yes, being grateful seems simple enough, but a grateful state of mind is unbelievably hard to maintain when life ultimately disappoints us. And that's the kicker. When we're feeling down and out, and when we're feeling disappointed, that's exactly when a dose of gratitude is the most powerful. So what's the best approach? Being grateful starts with being present. You can't appreciate your life when you're not paying attention to it. I'm going to say it again. You can't appreciate your life when you're not paying attention to it. And the truth of the matter is this: we make our present situations much worse when we replay difficult past situations in our head. How could she have possibly done that to me? How could he have possibly done that to me? Or when we run over all the situations that might be problematic in the future. What if she cheats on me? What if he lies to me? In the present moment, Our real situation is rarely as convoluted as we make it out to be. And we can meet this moment with grace and with gratitude if we can truly stay in the present. Because when our mind shifts or drifts into the past and speculates about the future, we must do our best to catch ourselves and then refocus mindfully back on the present. You've heard me say it, that the past is history and tomorrow's a mystery. All we have is the present. That's why it's a gift. And once we're back, the key is to accept the moment as it is. Our reality can ruin us if we deny it and if we fight it. Or we can accept it for what it truly is. Be grateful for it and gradually learn to make the best of it. Why? How? Why and how? How? This takes practice, of course. And why? Because gratitude tends to escape us when we feel let down. Think about what has let you down. Think about people that have let you down. Think about circumstances that have let you down, that have disappointed you. But that's life. And if life knocks you down, one of my mentors said, if you get knocked down, make sure you land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And I'm a living witness to that. Because this is the real world, not an ideal world. And your reality always contains a silver lining of beauty if you choose to see it. So to recap, 5 things that you must do in order to move forward in your life if you're just hopping on. Number 1, you have to practice thinking better about yourself. It's an inside job. Number 2, you have to consciously embrace the fact that you are more than the one broken piece of you. Point number 3, you have to realize that you must change, evolve, and start over when you must. The 4th thing is to let go of the things you don't need. And then finally, find something. For the love of God, find something to be grateful for in the present moment, despite your current situation. Having said all that, I trust that it was of value to you, that this podcast gave you something to think about and digest and chew on as you go through the rest of your week. And if it did, let me know. Feel free to like, comment, or share this podcast on your Facebook walls, everywhere. And remember, in life, you have 2 choices. You can make moves or you can make excuses, but you most certainly cannot do both. And again, if you have not already done so, make sure you hit up www.motivation2elevation.com. Again, that's www.motivation2elevation, all together, one word, no spaces.com. Again, it's yours truly, Arian, Tyson, the Moving Motivator. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's edition of the Motivation to Elevation Facebook Live podcast. I will be back same time next Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, God bless you. Good night. Peace.